So you guys already know about the allegations brought up against the diddler. He's actually spending some time in jail. I think he's sentenced to 5 years for not even the serious allegations that were brought up against him. In fact, the serious allegations that was brought up has been dismissed, which is insane because it's like a stadium amount of people came out against this man and they still found him not guilty. That shit is fucked up, which is why I support 50 Cent for releasing that documentary, one of the greatest documentaries in history, or maybe one of the most watched documentaries in history, because I've seen better documentaries for sure. But yeah, it is the #1 documentary on Netflix, the #1 show on Netflix. And here's what I gotta say about that. When is season 2 coming out? There should be at least 10 seasons of this, right? Because the amount of people this man fucked over is insane. People who have a problem like Marlon Wayne against 50 Cent for releasing a documentary that clearly incriminates Pdiddy, using his own footage? Oh, what is you arguing? What is you upset? You make me wonder, what do you have? A secret that you're trying to hide, that you're involved with Diddy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel about it. But he released a video not too long ago saying, I'm not here trying to defend P. Diddy or anything like that. Bro, it kind of sounds like you are, Marlon, which is crazy because I'm a huge fan, a lot of people are, of Marlon Wayne and the Wayne brothers, period. So it's crazy that he said that. Anyway, we're going to watch 50 Cent, my boy 50. I wish I never meet this man because I'm afraid that I might say something that offends him, because all it took is P. Diddy saying, let's go shopping, for him to hold a grudge for so many years and for release this freaking documentary that absolutely destroys P. Diddy. It's crazy. This shit is funny. So he's a really funny guy. 50 Cent, I don't know if y'all know, he's fucking hilarious. Let's get into react this. 50 Cent is on this newscast. They're they're taking an interview about him, talking about the documentary. So let's see his reaction and what he says.
That he clearly viewed as secret, including a high-stakes call with his lawyer just days before his now infamous arrest, plus Diddy reacting in real time as new lawsuits dropped against him. Combs has publicly objected that he says the videos were, quote, stolen.
Right.
I like to be able to live. You know, it's really going to be hard for me to take more hits than I take it, God forbid, get in front of a jury and have a chance. And so I'm having this emergency call because something has to give. I've listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just like,
man, that was so funny that he said that, right? He's so afraid. He's like, I'm getting so much allegations against me, man. They're gonna find me guilty. You better find a way. You know, like he knew. Here's the thing: even if there were false allegations, the amount of allegations that came out, you will be afraid to. There's no lying about that. You can't lie about that, honestly. Anybody would be afraid about that. That's the truth. But it's funny that he said it like that, you know?
I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
These new videos contribute to a critical portrait of Diddy in the documentary, which we can report tonight has now jumped to #1 for Netflix shows in the U.S. since debuting
#1
this week. Sean Combs' The Reckoning tackles Diddy's entire life, including previous legal controversies, the recent trial, which saw him acquitted on the most serious charges, including RICO, but convicted for prostitution crimes that landed him in prison for about 2 more years. Diddy's team is also rebutting this project as a, quote, shameful hit piece. They note the obtained footage was not authorized for release. Netflix says they legally obtained the videos. In addition, tonight, another dynamic.
He big mad in prison, bro. He big mad. No, yeah. He's pissed off at 50 Cent. I would say I'm concerned for 50 Cent because I honestly believe P. Diddy, allegedly, maybe I should say that because I'm kind of afraid myself that something might happen to me, has something to do with certain people who are no longer living and had something to do to contribute to that fact. So 50 Cent, I'm kind of concerned for him, but at the same time, the man is a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. I don't know. I mean, doesn't he own, what is that? Vitamin water. Vitamin water. He owns vitamin water, right? Doesn't he? So yeah, maybe I shouldn't be concerned for him. Here's something I want to say about the Netflix. If anything, it support, like there are people now that you haven't heard of that are coming out against P. Diddy. New accusations are being brought up. I forgot his name, but I think he's a DJ or something. Just came out not that long ago and filed a report against P. Diddy. So yeah, if anybody has a problem with this documentary,
shut the hell up.
Sit your ass down, because you're only showing that you're being suspect. This is what I'm saying. Like you're being very suspicious.
Here is that another famous rapper is, of course, behind this.
And again, another thing, just real quick, I apologize for keep pausing this shit. I'm surprised that there's people that are actual fans of P. Diddy. What the fuck did this guy do? He ain't do shit. The man ain't done shit. What did he do? He's a producer that didn't pay his artists. Like the amount of people. And here's the thing too. Here's the thing too. Why did people kept signing with Bad Boys when there's so much reasons not to sign with Bad Boys? They just kept coming and signing, like so many artists signed with Bad Boys when the reputation is out there to the public that this man does not pay his artists. He keeps every cent. The fact that he even paid for Biggie's funeral with Biggie's own money is enough to find this man despicable, untrustworthy. Like, it's enough for you not to sign with this man. But people kept signing with him. This shit is crazy, to me, honestly.
Descent, who has long publicly clashed with Diddy and has recently expanded into a wide range of film and TV projects. He has plenty to say about Combs' record. The rapper, actor, and producer joins me now. He's sold over 30 million albums, won all kinds of awards and accolades along the way, and is now a successful film and TV producer. And we're also joined by his colleague on the project, Alexandria Stapleton, an Emmy-winning showrunner and director of this series. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Oh, man, thanks for having me.
Always great to have a 50-day.
Yeah, it's always going to be good. Great for ratings.
There we go. It's an important project, clearly. The question for both of you, 50 first, why this project, why now?
Well, we waited until after the results of the trial to release the project, but I started like almost 5 months before I was able to find Alex, and finding an Emmy Award-winning showrunner and director is detrimental to the project being really well put together. So, they should expect it to perform like Reggie Jackson's did.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to her for it. She really did a great job with the documentary, for sure.
Yeah, I think why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it spans, it's four parts, and it spans over 30 years of pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least, to put all of this together.
It's an important story, and you could just tell it with all the public material. Mm-hmm. You go further. You've gotten your hands on some extra new material people are going to see for the first time, including this video. Any journalist would want to know how you got it, but it is Sean Diddy Combs in the heat of this, right before the arrest for the trial we just discussed, in private moments, talking to his lawyer, cameras running. Let's take a look.
Krista, this is like the third year you're 45.
I am not paying for the premium YouTube, so I could bypass the ads, okay? So bear with me, guys. 1 second. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. Hold on.
Talking to his lawyer, cameras running. Let's take a look.
All right.
It's the middle of September and there's still no indictment. No, then you have to have a spokesman. You have to have some sort of comms to constantly be pushing that, Mark. Because you may just be the person that just does. You just may watch CNN. So you at the wrong place looking to see what the people with the possible jurors are thinking. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
Bro, I just couldn't stop because clearly the man is nervous. But he's on drugs. According to the documentary, this man currently right there, nonstop drugs, bro. Like, at first, he didn't do drugs. He didn't even smoke weed. But then eventually he got into drugs and he's been high ever since, like nonstop. So, but again, he's very nervous, obviously nervous.
50, how'd you get it, and what does that scene show?
Well, I mean, you're a
50 Cent
journalist, Harvey, you would not disclose your sources.
We usually don't.
Yeah, but I got it. Yeah.
What he said.
What do you think it conveys? Because we see someone trying to pull the strings and talking about, he would say affecting, others would say manipulating the public views of the allegations.
I think that, one big theme of the series is to go behind the scenes to really understand how brilliant you could say Sean Combs is at marketing, at owning his narrative, controlling the narrative at all times. And so why would that stop, when his life is on the line?
Okay. That is, without a doubt, Pdiddy is probably the greatest marketer in the world, which is why a lot of people signed up with Pdiddy, But if you're hearing shit about this man, that he's not paying his artists, I don't give a fuck how good he is in marketing. If I'm not going to get paid, why would I sign up? Right? Because without a shadow of doubt, the man is great as a marketer. I mean, that is his reputation. It's well known. He is impossibly great. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm saying it. I'm sticking with it. That he's impossibly great with marketing. Like, he does the impossible. Yeah. Is that correct? Yes, it is.
So I think that, on its face, that's what it is. But as you get deeper in the film, you start to realize, perhaps how some of these tactics, how they really came to present themselves, during the trial.
You show that, his abilities, his early rise. Right. Alexandra, you also give time to victims of the alleged abuse. Some of the cases are in different procedural postures. And you show victims who were women and men. Why is that important?
Because, victims of sexual assault, sexual violence, that should... gender should not be a part of that conversation. When you are a victim, you are a victim. And I think that, this series was a platform in a way for these alleged victims to come forward, give their truth, put context to their situations when so much of it was ripped out, and we just went.
I'm sorry, man. I got to say something about that. What type of dumbass question is that? Why is that important to show the victims? Men and women? What kind of question is that? I don't get it. Why ask that question? So they could show off the victims, so they can give them a voice. Why is that? I don't know, man. This guy is slow. The guy is slow. The interviewer, like, bro, why stupid ass question?
Really had the time to tell their story.
Yeah, and the film takes us way behind the PR or propaganda machine. You see Diddy the day he's finding out about new suits against him while he's in New York preparing for a possible criminal arrest. This is another moment from the video that 50 said he won't tell us where he got it. But it's a rare window into his thinking. I can say, just like Nixon didn't think the Watergate tapes would come out against him, it would appear that Diddy did not think he would lose control of this video as he talks about an accuser. Take a look.
So I don't think it's a secret who gave 50 Cent the videos. It has to be the person taking the freaking video. Like, P. Diddy knows who that person is. Who else would it be? You know what I'm saying? Like, the person who's taking a video of P. Diddy following him around is probably the same very person who gave 50 Cent the video, and possibly a victim of P. Diddy, which is why they gave 50 Cent the video in the first place, I feel like. And obviously money has something to do with that, but I'm saying maybe that's also a factor that we should consider, considering who P. Diddy is and what he's obviously done to so many people. So I think that's who I put. If I was a betting man, I would put my money on the person who's taking a video of P. Diddy, who's following him around, that gave up the footage.
What level of brokenness, disease is going on? God told me to do nothing, so I gotta do what God told me to do. And what I want to do. Once they study in the store, we ain't about to be tripping. This girl that's in my group that was on my last album. You're on my last album now. All of a sudden, I'm this person. I'm this monster. That kid. Gloves coming off.
Alexandria, what does this show in the story you're telling?
Well, this is a moment where the lawsuits, I would say, take a turn and they become very personal for him. Don Richard is one of the alleged victims who filed a lawsuit, and I think that this is a moment where he was nicked. His armor was nicked, I guess you could say, because I think Sean Combs is a person who probably feels like, to step to him, especially legally, takes a lot of courage that I don't think he really assumed that a lot of people were going to have, even though the Cassie, lawsuit had already been out. And so I think he was a little off balance, but that quickly turned to anger.
And 50, the project, I've seen all 4 episodes, it doesn't feel like a personality critique. It feels like it goes to the conduct, the alleged abuse, some of it alleged, some of it proven. And so you also show, one person who worked with Diddy, this was a Bad Boy co-founder who had a falling out with him, as apparently many people did. And it goes beyond the bravado. Some would say, 50, you have some bravado, and that's okay. Here, it seems that it turns into something more sinister and abusive. I want to play Mr. Burroughs talking about it and get your view of why this was an important part of the story. Take a look.
He had this thing with strongmen, and he had a thing with wanting to be one, but not positioned to be one street-wise, but positioned to be one industry-wise. And they call that a paper gangster.
No, but I'm not paying, nor am I involved in any of that.
And so as he's paper gangstering, he's also trying to street gangster.
Yeah, Kurt Burroughs has a lot of insight. And, this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version of the story. And the only thing, I wish we were able to have Diddy be in the doc. So he could have said some things that, make people understand why people are saying these things about him.
The outreach went to his team and they gave denials, but he didn't want to participate.
Yeah.
What do you think of the psychology, 50? Because in getting to know you...
Diddy, if he actually reached out to P. Diddy, 50 Cent did, to get on his documentary, he's like, P. Diddy, would you like to be on my documentary that I'm making about you and criminalizing you, fucking demonizing you? Shit, that's funny. If that's true, bro. I would love to believe that's true. I don't think he did that. Did he?
Psychologist and done very well with that. You have a keen eye for people. Fair?
Oh, yeah, I try.
Mr. Burroughs makes the argument that Diddy was overcompensating, that he wasn't initially actually a tough guy.
Right.
And then there's the old saying, be careful who you pretend to be, you might become them.
This is true.
Did that happen to him in your view?
I'm not sure if that's what transpired, but because I don't know him to be tough. We haven't even had problems. Me and him. Our issue, they'll say we had beef for 20 years, but I have hired both of his sons for different projects that I worked on, both 2 different television shows, Quincy and Justin. So I don't like have that energy towards him, like where we trying to hurt each other. All I would, like, while other people pointed out those situations, like that he was dangerous like that, I said, oh, okay.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that 50 Cent actually worked with Diddy's sons. Wow, that's interesting.
You know, I take it in, but we never got there.
Alexandria, the story also broadens well beyond the recent case. You look at a very controversial incident he was involved in early in his life, where people were badly hurt and killed, lost their life, but it was like a melee, not one-on-one violence. You look at the infamous case in the nightclub with J-Lo, where another artist, Shine, took the rap, not him. Are you trying to tell a story that he's been getting away with things this whole time, or is that up to the viewer to decide?
Absolutely up to the viewer. I think that my job was to show patterns, you know, and my job was to report the facts and things that happened. And I think that it's pretty obvious that there are patterns that follow him, trails, you know, of destruction and you know, devastation that follow.
You don't say.
I think that, again, context is everything. And so when you're talking about Sean Combs, when you're talking about these cases, you can't just cherry pick one to make it all make sense. You have to look at the piece as a whole.
Yeah. Now we have to talk about Tupac, which I wasn't committed to, but then I watched the doc.
I was waiting for that. I want to hear 50 Cent what he thinks about that. Does he also believe? I mean, I think 50 Cent believes exactly all the allegations, like everything that happened, that he freaking had in a documentary about P. Diddy possibly happened with the death of Biggie and 50. And Tupac. God forbid anything happens to 50, man. But yeah, I think a lot of people believe that. It seems obvious. It seems the most consistent story, you know, narrative that P. Diddy had a problem with Tupac. He felt like Tupac was a threat to him, and a threat in a sense that he might influence Biggie to leave Diddy and go with the Death. What's it called again? Death Records. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, yeah.
So
I didn't know you were getting that.
you have a lot of people saying stuff in there that makes it sound like maybe he was responsible for that murder, which has never been proven. That's a very serious thing.
You have Keefy D and
Exactly, bro. That's what I was gonna say. Keefy D, bro. He just said that shit to the police. Like, I got paid for this shit to take out Tupac. Didn't they? Like, how is that alleged if the man who did it, right, said it, and he wasn't getting time off from prison? Like, he literally voluntarily said that shit. Like, they didn't tell him that he was gonna get time. Did they? I don't think they did. Right? It kind of seems like he was telling the truth. Otherwise, why would he say it?
Yes, now getting ready to go on trial for that case, saying those things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with his trial. I think right now it's up for August of 2026, and so it'll be very interesting. It was fascinating, though, to unearth, you know, different people that.
I'll make sure I'm gonna have me my popcorn, even though I don't even really eat or like popcorn. I'm gonna watch that freaking trial like I watched Johnny Depp versus Heard. I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of that freaking trial. I can't wait for it. I honestly cannot wait for it. And I know P. Diddy is gonna be involved 100% with that trial. Like, his name is gonna be mentioned probably a dozen times throughout that trial. I have no doubt. I don't think a lot of people have any doubt about that.
Are not in the direct line of, you know, when all the Keefe news came out, someone like Kirk Burrows, you know, you get to understand more of his opinion about what was going down. But I think more than just the actual murders and the tragic deaths of both Tupac and Biggie, I think that for us it was really important to understand some of the dynamics of those three, Sean Combs, Biggie, and Tupac, and what was really going on behind the scenes, that often gets lifted because everyone just wants to talk about, the murder, and not to really digest why.
But do you think viewers left with the impression that he was responsible?
I think that that's really up to the court system and not to me.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. I did for sure. That convinced me 100% after watching the documentary. I didn't even know about, he just said his name. I just said his name. I forgot. The guy, the Crip that killed Tupac, or at least his nephew, I guess. Anyway, and the trial that I was just talking about, that I will definitely watch when it's going on. Hopefully it's televised. I'm praying that it is, just like Johnny Depp and Heard's case. I doubt it. I thought it was going to be televised, but I will be following it and enjoying the shit out of it.
Or the film. We're just presenting, things that have been reported on, have been said by Keefe D, himself.
Keefe D.
And,
Keefe D is his name.
Brother Love. Go on.
No, I'm just saying what he was saying.
What he was saying, yeah. And you're speaking about a key person who some people would say, oh, that's strong evidence. Other people would say, when you get into years later and people with various agendas, you don't know. You have a juror in here. What did that show us about this case? Because there is a tension within all this. It's no stranger to many people that the justice system fails in all sorts of ways. You show how it failed survivors and Cassie, clearly. At the same time, he beat the case in New York. I remember the day it happened, and I looked at 50's Instagram for Diddy News, as so many Americans do. And in all fairness, 50 said, okay, he beat a big part of the case, right? You said. Many people think that was an unjust outcome, but when talking to the jurors, what did you find? Because the film looks at all of this horror, but then finds that a jury of his peers in New York, ultimately in this era, said the government did not prove the whole RICO case.
Yeah, I think it's really complicated. And I think that to break down what went right and what maybe went left or wrong in that trial that's a whole other documentary. But I think that, we have two jurors, two very different types of New Yorkers, that were interviewed in the film. And I think that when you talk to them, it was very clear to me that they stood behind that decision. They stood behind it 1,000%.
Because?
Because they felt that based on the charges that were presented by the federal government, and that they could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Sean Combs was guilty of, RICO.
Yeah. That they overcharged.
That they overcharged. I think that when you get into the, I don't know if our laws or our legal system are the best when it comes to the gray matter of sexual assault.
They had tanks out in front of his house. All right, like they made a bigger, more extreme approach to investigation.
Bye.
So you think the government did basically.
That was definitely a win for Pdiddy. 50 months compared to 50 years that he could have done, maybe even more than that, considering the amount of allegations, serious allegations that was brought up against him. He definitely won that case. Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think? I think the documentary did a job. If you had any doubt that Diddy was guilty or not, for sure, you have no doubt now after that documentary that Diddy is in fact guilty and probably was involved in the death of Biggie and Tupac. All right, so the documentary was great. Shout out to 50 Cent and this lovely lady for releasing it. Regardless of what 50 Cent's intent was before that, like if he really had an issue with Diddy, because he told him, let's go shopping, whatever the fuck, that he's really that petty that he decided to do this. Even if that was the case, he did a great job because it exposed a lot and he gave a voice to a lot of people that were silent by Diddy. And the fact that Diddy didn't pay his artists, that alone, and even without this documentary, it is well known that Diddy does not pay his artists. It's very well known. And that alone is enough for me to be convinced that this man is a horrible, horrible person, and any accusations that's brought up against him is probably true. Okay? So this documentary, wasn't crazy necessary, I don't think, but it was necessary. And it did its job. So thank you, 50 Cent.